DNS. A. When you type a human-readable name like google.com into your web browser, the computer does not actually know how to find that server on its own. It needs a specific numeric destination known as an Internet Protocol, or IP, address. The Domain Name System, or DNS, is the global database that handles this translation. Within the DNS system, there are several different types of records, but the absolute most fundamental one is the A record. The A in A record stands for address. The anatomy of an A record. An A record has one very simple, but critical job. It maps a domain name to a 32-bit numeric address, specifically a version 4 IP address. For example, if you own the website minutehow.com, you would create an A record in your DNS control panel that says minutehow.com points to the IP address 192.0.2.1. When a user's computer asks for your website, the DNS server looks up that A record and sends the numeric address back to the browser. The browser then uses that IP address to establish a transmission control protocol. TCP, connection on port 80 or 443. It is important to note that an A record is strictly for version 4 IP addresses. If you are working with the much longer version 6 IP addresses, you must use a completely different record called a Quad A record, or AAAA. Time to live TTL. Every A record contains a hidden setting called the time to live, or TTL. This value is measured in seconds. It tells other DNS servers across the internet how long they are allowed to keep a copy of your A record in their temporary memory, or cache, before they must come back to your server to check for an update. As an IT professional, managing the TTL is a vital troubleshooting skill. If you are moving your website to a brand new server with a different IP address, you should lower your TTL to something very short, like 300 seconds, a few days before the move. This ensures that when you update the A record, the rest of the world sees the change almost instantly. If you leave the TTL at a high value, like 86,400 seconds, which is one full day, some users will still be directed to your old, dead server for 24 hours after the move. Troubleshooting A record failures. When a user complains that they cannot reach a specific website, but they can still reach other sites like Google, your first step is to verify the A record. You will use a command line tool called NSLOOKUP by typing NSLOOKUP followed by the domain name into your terminal. The system will query the DNS server and show you exactly which IP address is associated with that A record. If the NSLOOKUP returns a non-existent domain error, the A record is either missing or the DNS registration has expired. If it returns the wrong IP address, the record has likely been poisoned by an attacker or misconfigured by an administrator. Later in your career, when you are working with digital forensics, analyzing DNS logs to see which A records a compromised machine was querying will be one of the first things you do to identify where an attacker was sending stolen data.